So you get where I am, right? Like I told you that you need the second big gold mine. You need it. You need a big gold mine. And you don't want your town centers to be close to your opponent town centers. Like your 30C, you don't want it to be next to the Egyptians 30C.
Ah, Blue
And you want...
Lagoon.
This is a good map, yes. Not at these spawns, though. The spawns are like the TCs in the middle. Poor Zeus. I'm already crying from my left eye. My left eye is throwing a tear. A tear is dropping down from
And
all the
look,
mercenaries.
and looking at actually the zebras in the middle, I kind of think that Elmo might be tempted to go for Granary and for the front TC once he advances into classical.
Yeah, if there's no back gold mine on the TC that he has on the top, I would most likely get the forward TC as well and just try to mass army and keep Kimo away from the forward TC while getting jumping gauges.
Well, that could be some kind of opportunity to deny Kimo the TC on the right, because he's basically cut off from him by the tree line. So it might be a bit harder for him to even go there. So if Elmo plays it correctly, he might be somehow able to stop him. But at the same time, since the Rise is going to be taking the TC quite soon, without any kind of army presence from Elmo yet, it probably won't matter all that much. Looking at the relic, that Rise taking is better. Spearman hack attack. That's definitely gonna help against Epicons. And I'm kind of curious if on the right side, looking at the Kimo's TC, if it's going to be passable, the tree line, or if it's gonna run right next to the wall. I'm really curious about that, because if it's running right next to the wall, then the gold is not all that awesome for Kimo, and he will need some extra migdol to protect it. Otherwise, of course, he could be hiding at the TC, but still, yeah, that's going to be a question to be answered a bit later into the game. Not any kind of gold protected at the back so far for Elmo. By the back TC, just a few hunt opportunities in the Gazelles and the Rhino. And the gold on the right could be potentially considered his because of the tree line that is kind of halfway covering it and offering pretty good opportunity for walling up with the high hill. But still, yeah, there's just one gold mine in there. So potentially, really, I'm still expecting that Elmo will go for the hunt in the middle for the zebras, and then right off the bat. It's actually not going to be all that easy, as Elmo is going to the back for the for the double gazelles and the one rhino. Interesting choice. I've maybe expected that he would want to keep something in check or rather in the bank.
He
Or a
did see
bit
the
worse
gold mine, right?
placement.
He did see the gold mine, maybe that's why. But I would get the zebras. Obviously, you want to get the zebras. Like, you really want to get the zebras.
Yeah, because he's not going to be getting opportunity a bit later into the game.
Yes,
Especially against Egyptian, you have quite the free time to gather from them without any kind of problem.
Ra especially. Against Ra, you have the first 9 minutes to gather food outside of your base. After that, you need to be spread. You need to you need to spread your villagers, and yeah, you need to have them close to your base because camels, chariots, mainly chariots, with a few camel support.
Well, the gold inside Kimo's base is going to be pretty much safe. He's having very nicely positioned towers, and the tree line is also, of course, going to help as well, so there's not going to be any kind of problem. And looking at his hunt, that he's going for the zebras. Kataskopos having a bit of fun with the pharaoh. Is he going to bolt him, actually? Huh, doesn't seem so. So he's not interested in that. He wants to keep it for maybe some raiding, or maybe for the Son of Osiris in the very later game in here. And we are already seeing that Kimo is going for a bit of walling, even though he will need a whole lot more than that.
It's good that he's walling though, because if, let's say, Elmo decides to rush, because why not? Why not just go like 2 barracks, make like 10 hoplites, and then switch into stables and archeries? And if he manages to take down the houses and the tower, then he gets a free temple, and then he can abuse the range of archers and Odysseus to hurt that gold mine.
Oh my, what did he just do, Elmo? He killed the rhino at pretty interesting spot, but luckily he was aiming for the town center. Otherwise it looked like pretty scary hit. Not exactly sure why he even aggroed it in the first place. He has already killed one rhino on the left. So yeah, he's going for the back TC. He thinks that the gold on the right side is going to be enough for him. And
Yep.
Kimo is going back home, interestingly enough. So he's probably gonna switch into safe TC as well.
Bast or Ptah?
He's going right now through Ptah.
By the way, how can I check? Can I use any commands to check resources, etc., upgrades?
You can try. I'm not exactly sure if it works. It should be exclamation mark T, for example. I'm not sure if it's going to be working for you, or if it's just for observer.
Okay, I won't try. I clicked F for by mistake, and I think everyone saw it.
Well, I'm thinking that your chat is actually the same rules as for the other players, so if you are not having selected anyone, it should be just you seeing it. But right now we are looking at the TC on the right being captured, even though the center was trying to make something happen in there, but yeah, just some
I
extra
would
damage
love
into...
to see 4 farms. Just make some farms early. Like if he makes some farms, it would give some food.
And
Like,
you're thinking about Elmo right now, trying to make use
yeah,
of the rain?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that could be
Elmo
some
is
kind of
dropping.
idea. And it seems like that we might be exactly where we left. And that was with the town center being built on the right side from Kimo. You have seen Elmo scouted it a bit before with the centaur that is right now raiding a bit more to the top. And Elmo, he is himself at 2 TCs, having missing, or rather missing pickaxe and hand axe. So not having it yet.
He's not
Yes.
missing it. He just don't need it yet. When you're going for a fast age up, and you're going for a fast TC, you know that 6 of your villagers will be building the TC. That leaves you with like 12 villagers gathering resources. You don't want to invest 200 plus resources. It's actually 300 resources. It's not efficient. Like, you will get the upgrades as soon as you have like 12 on wood and like 6 on gold. That's when you want to get them.
Right now it's looking like that Elmo is sending his heroes a bit more to the front, trying to make something happen around the TC. And oh well, actually with the gold, it's exactly as I thought it might be. The forest is running all around, basically the town center and the gold between them, right next to the wall. So the gold is basically not safe, and he will have to cut through first
Yeah,
if he wants to.
if Elmo just needs to bring a villager and make a wall there,
And
fun.
trap him inside. That would be funny.
Fun, yeah.
And he's going right now for the front EC, and he actually did take at least 4 farms for the raid, so that he has some kind of bonus.
That's good. Like,
And he's switching into stables right next to the town center. So yeah, his next course of action is probably going to be to put out at least a few hippicons and try to stop the Migral, but at least forested defensively. And looking at the map, this is actually not that great for Kimo, because he's having literally 1 gold on the right, and that is behind the tree line.
and what Elmo could do is go to that gold mine, make that wall, bring like 5 units, and as soon as Kimo goes to make a Migdol, ceasefire. And just build things around the gold mine. Just build things. Be annoying as fuck.
Yeah, that could definitely happen in here. And this is a really curious map right now, and I'm fairly certain that Elmo should be knowing that the gold is really not that great for Kimo. So we are looking at a relic for villager gold get rate, but
There
on
is a
Elmo's
gold
side.
mine. Do you see the gold mine on the left for Elmo?
Yeah, the one hidden
That
right
means
next to the zebras.
that means there's a gold mine on the left for Kimo as well. There is probably a gold mine under the zebra or on the left of the tree, in the bottom. There's probably gold there.
Yeah, I'll be expecting that it's going to be in the kind of triangle of the fog of war. On the very left, there's going to be one hidden. That's where it really could be. And well, so far Kimo hasn't discovered it, and I'm not right now sure that he actually will. He isn't exactly known for impeccable scouting, so he's moving for the right side. And unfortunately for Elmo, Elmo isn't paying attention at all to that part of the map. And Kimo is of course going for it with the wall.
Like, if he had the heroes and the TP becomes there, he would force him back, and then he could cease fire. if things got messy.
Well, he's going with Hippicons in at least, so let's see if he's going to be trying and stop him. He is. At least
Like,
doing that.
if he had his heroes there, how much easier things would have been. Not his heroes, just the Jason. You want to dish his back.
And actually, Elmo could be at least stopping the TC. I'm not really saying that he should be taking it, but he could have just basically clicked it in with the villages, one hit with the hammer, and then he can just delete it for basically all the resources back. But he would be stopping exactly the TC from Kimo. So that might have been some kind of idea for him. But, well, it's going to be changing the game a bit, because of course, since Kimo cannot build any military buildings, it means that he will be lacking, because of course Elmo was prepared, so he's still pumping out Hippicons. And
oh my god. Did he delete the Migdol? He lost like 200 gold at least by deleting that Migdol.
oh wow, he really did. Well, that reminds me of a game that I actually casted of Kimo some weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. He was playing Norse, and he actually placed interesting hill fort blocking, or rather blocking. He actually wasn't blocking his villagers right next to the gold mine, but he deleted the hill fort because he thought that he did. So that seems like some kind of thing for him, not really being afraid of deleting fortresses, even under construction.
And unfortunately, Elmo being indecisive let Kimo make that Migdol. Like, if he sent just his archers to the mine, to the right mine, and just kept all of his main army here, Kimo wouldn't be able to make that Migdol. No way.
And right now he's going to be in a bit of more problems, because it doesn't seem like that Kimo is ready, or rather Elmo is ready for his upgrade into medium Hippicons, which is something that he could definitely use now. And oh, bit of Billy fight! And it's definitely not a bad choice, because the normal Hippicons are not really all that strong, obviously.
Yeah. Even medium, they're not that strong. Like, he's losing so much here. Like, look at the score, you can understand. Even though if you check... Oh, I cannot check the eco, I can't... How does the eco look like?
Right now, for Elmo, he's having basically nothing. Just 600 gold, and Kimo is how well off? Kimo is having 150 food, 400 gold. So he's pretty much okay. I'm thinking that Kimo is slightly better off in the economy. There's going to be some raiding.
Such a small detail, such a small thing changed. That small move from Elmo, letting that Migdol go up uncontested, and then keeping his army under TC fire and Migdol fire brought him into this position. While he was in a really, really good position, now he's in a really, really bad position.
Well, he's at least trying to make up for it with walling on the left. He's basically trying to cut Kimo out of all the gold. Still nobody scouted in the corner that we are thinking that there's going to be another gold mine. And, oh, he actually hasn't finished walling on the hill. Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's a highway into Elmo's base. Oh, man. Yeah, that's gonna hurt in there, on the gold at the top, I'm thinking. But otherwise, is there something in... Oh yeah, there is a gold, exactly as you expected, on the left. But Kimo doesn't know about it, so it's just Elmo's line of sight. And Kimo is already starting with the trade at the bottom, so he's going to be attempting to start it pretty soon. And it might be reasonably inefficient if he doesn't cut through the tree line sometime soon. And they might be quite bumping into each other if he's going for the back TC. So that might be a bit of a problem for him potentially. But at least we are seeing medium Hippicons for Kimo, or rather for Elmo. Can't tell me the similar names. Armory coming up.
There's so many places for the caravans to start. The first tree line, the second tree line, and... Yeah.
Oh, the first one is actually very bad.
Yeah. I wonder why he didn't start gathering from there first. Ouch.
Ew.
Why didn't he make... Like, why didn't he spread the farms? Like, if he spread the farms, this wouldn't happen. He made so many farms around the sea.
Well, that's a lot of damage into the wood line. That's going to be at least 8 times 7. That's like almost 600, 560 wood, and that's a whole lot at this stage of the game, especially considering
Actually,
he
he
does
lost
have it.
more than that. He lost more farm than that.
He
He
at
lost
least
a
does
full
have a lot of
circle.
wood. He's having 800 wood, so he won't really mine all that much. But he's traded on the left right now on the hunt and on the gold. But he seems to be having basically enough resources just waiting for the gold onto Mythical Age. So Elmo will be jumping pretty soon. But he's having idols in his own base on the gold. So he is moving right now somewhere into the front with some army on the right side, not exactly sure what he's aiming for. But in the meantime, Kimo has been able to secure another gold mine in the front,
How close is
basically
he?
on the right of his TC.
Kimo, how close is he to Mythic? He's getting military upgrades, Kimo. And how close is he to getting Mythic?
And he's right now 70% into Osiris, Kimo, so he's going to be even faster into the Mythic. And looking at the siege towers in there with the mythical units, well, it seems like that he's kinda readying himself for a push. And looking at the army from Elmo being basically just stock swords, yeah, that's not really great against all those siege towers. Not exactly sure if Elmo is fully aware, but he should be because he's seen the Hippicons at the back chasing after the Raiden. So that should be a pretty good spot for him to actually attack on the front EC, especially since it's basically undefended and it's not even fortified. Hephaestus coming up. For Elmo, of course.
And bye-bye TC.
Yeah, right now that's going to be basically good old game over for it, at least. Well, let's see. Oh,
Why is he going back? There's like 5 villages
Exactly.
only.
What the hell? That was a very weird decision.
Yeah,
But he's
but
waiting
then
for the catapults, yeah. That's probably
the
the
son of
reason.
Osiris. Oh shit. Oh boy.
Oh well, that's an artillery on top of him. Can he actually finish? Probably not. Kimo is right now hiding him at the last moment. Actually make sure that he isn't killed all that much, but the TC is down. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And right now begins the quite interesting game, and not really, as Elmo decides to call it a game, even before he advances into
Yeah,
5 slots, I'm thinking.
look at the killing ratio. That's what you want to avoid. You don't want this to happen. If this
Yeah, that's
happens,
bad. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame, because the game was really looking quite well. There was definitely a way to make it very difficult for Kimo through the gold on the right side, exactly as you said. There were some opportunities, but, well, yeah. Looks like that Kimo, or rather Elmo is right now, saying that he's a bit tired, but still, I'm thinking that we have seen quite interesting 5 games, all of them.
yep.
And, well, thanks Larizzle for hosting, that we could have seen those players actually fighting for some interesting prize. And Kimo is winning the match 3-2, and Elmo will have to try another time. Another time to beat Kimo, but he wasn't really far away. He definitely had the chances, even in the games that he lost. And I'm kinda curious to see another match from them. Just looking right now through the post game. There's nothing interesting, all that much in the economy. The military, you already said that. Inefficiency, yet again, been a problem for Elmo. And research count, of course. Elmo just 7, Kimo 25, so he was much better off.
Oh, my
Overall.
macros, my economy sucked in this game. My economy. I only gathered 300 food. I'm just joking around.
Yeah, I'm just taking my time to process it actually, because I'm not used to this. Into the other player in here, so I just couldn't figure out what you meant.
Yeah, I figured it out. That's why I said I'm joking around.
All right. And looking at the military units, oh well, yeah, you can see right now there was about 18 units right next to the bolt for Elmo, and then he lost absolutely everything to basically no army from Kimo. And even though he was able to get back up, then Son of Osiris came, of course. That's always a problem. Okay then, GG.
GG.
So that has been the last match of today. I'm just going to correct the score for the last time. And well, definitely thank you, TheMista, for joining me with your expert opinion. Definitely made the streaming a whole lot more interesting for the viewers and for me as well. Learning a lot of stuff about the little things that make games click for you, especially. And I hope that everybody in the chat and on the stream enjoy the games, and especially Larizzle, who paid for it. And well, yeah, do you want to say anything at the end?
Good night, bitches.
Yeah, that's a nice closing. So yeah, I'm going to be reminding everybody that if you enjoy the streamings and the before that I was casting just alone from the Frozen Times tournament, follow here on the channel for more. I'm hoping that you can get some extra games with TheMista again for some casting of interesting games in the community. And well, of course, having some things like YouTube, Facebook, and whatever nonsense you can find all the links below the stream if you are interested in those. You should be checking out the YouTube. There are a lot of extra videos that you maybe could have missed that I have streamed and you weren't online or some such. And of course, as for the Age of Mythology community, RTS-Sanctuary.com for tournaments, expert community, and literally any community, strategy guides, recorded games, literally anything you can think of. For scenarios and mods, it's Age of Mythology Heaven, and then there's Reddit/Age of Mythology. And all these games have been played on Woobbly using Woobbly Balance Patch 2.0. And yes, thank you for watching and see you later.